Summer routines live or die by how easy they are. And honestly, if something takes too much effort, I'm out. That's why Groones is my go-to. It's one daily pack of gummies covering my greens, vitamins, and minerals. Plus, it has 6 grams of prebiotic fiber, which is more than 2 cups of broccoli. No mixing powders, no giant pills, no hassle. Just rip open the pack and I'm done. They taste good and it makes it easy to stay on top of my health, even when life gets busy. Save up to 52% off with code PODCAST at Groones.co. That's code PODCAST at GRUNS.co.
Summer's a gift. The gift of days that last a little longer. A brighter state of mind. So gift yourself a new Kia at the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event with specially tagged vehicles including the Sorrento, Sportage, Carnival, as well as the Niro Hybrid. All backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. So the gift of summer can keep on giving for summers to come. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Always drive safely. Event ends 7/6/26. See dealer for warranty details.
But we liked the idea that we're presenting LA as this timeless place that is more the version of LA that might exist in the perception of someone who's never been to LA.
David, this is great. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
My pleasure. Nice to see you.
It's nice to see you too. Honestly, GAIL Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Boss is genuinely hilarious. I laughed out loud multiple times, which doesn't always happen with a comedy. I really thought it was so much fun. Where did
I'm
it come
glad to
from?
hear that. That's the goal.
It is. It is. Where did it come from?
It came from France. We bought it off the black market of screenplays that nobody wanted, and then just changed the title. It was a French title. I'm just kidding. Where did it come from? We just, Ken Marino and I really, it's just as silly. The truth is just as silly, which is that we just sat down one day and locked ourselves in a room for a week to try to come up with an idea for something. And we committed ourselves into writing a first draft in 1 week. And so we had to come up with an idea in a day. And we were just like, what about something involving the Celebrity Pass agreement? And then what about they go to LA? And then as we sort of structured the story, we're like, oh, it sort of feels like this other movie. Let's lean into that. And we just went from there.
Well, it does feel like this other movie. If the movie you're referencing is Wizard of Oz, which is just adds to the. I think it adds to it in so many amazing ways. Can you talk about the legacy of the Wizard of Oz in your mind? Why do you keep coming back to this story?
I don't know. I watched it a lot, of course, as I think anybody my age did as a kid. It was on TV every year, and we all, as a family, sat and kind of watched it on TV when it was on. I have not seen it in many years. And I mean, the last time I saw it, I recall being like, this is a very weird movie too. It's very strange. But I think really it's just because it is a story that's so oft repeated and so baked into so many people's consciousness that it has then become a good thing to riff off of. And that's why something like Wicked works so well, or, you're working from a text that everybody knows.
Well, with that being said, since you're working from this text, I mean, one of the things that is wonderful about this film is how it may be coded with that, but it's very much its own thing. Was it a challenge to sort of take these characters and bring them into the modern day in this film?
No, only because, as you said, we really the structure of Wizard of Oz was really a separate element to it, but the characters really didn't come from that. We were not being like, let's do our version of Wizard of Oz. That was not the process that we used. Our process was like, we're going to tell our own weird, funny story, and it sort of happens to map onto this iconic other story. So we'll have fun with that.
Well, with that being said, I would love to know how Jon Hamm got involved in this way, because certainly Jon Hamm is a major part of this film. But but he's really
Yes.
playing off himself. So I was wondering how did he come to be involved and especially in this role?
Jon Hamm, I've actually known him for a while, for since the 90s, actually, because um, I used to stay in the house that he lived in when I first came to LA. But anyway, he has a very unique place in our pop cultural awareness, that worked so perfectly for this particular place in our movie, especially paired with John Slattery, who is connected to him in such a specific way. And it happens that I'm lucky enough to have known both of these actors and worked with both of them, and they are both so, so funny, like really funny. And so uh, there just couldn't be a better setup than for these two to play the parts they do in the film. So we wrote it with them in mind, and we're fingers crossed that they would like it. The original title of the film was "I'll Take the Ham," and we sent it to both of them, and they both said yes. Thank God.
Um, I love their role. I also love the look of the film. Can you talk about the way you build LA in this particular film? Because it feels almost otherworldly, even though it's still LA.
Yeah, we wanted to do that even more, but we were working within a certain budget. But we liked the idea that we're presenting LA as this timeless place that is more the version of LA that might exist in the perception of someone who's never been to LA, instead of the real city that it is. And then just having our own riff and our own comedic digressions around that theme. And so that was basically our guiding idea around that.
Well, I have to ask, in a film like this, I mean, it says that everyone is a character in this town, within the film. Is there a character in this film, or its Wizard of Oz equivalent that you feel more connected to than others?
I feel like the real central character of this movie, if you really break it down, is the city of Los Angeles because it's so intrinsic to the movie. It's almost like another character. Um, but to answer your question more seriously, I would say no. I mean, I feel like the most, in a way, the most human character in the film is Gail, and so as by design, we're seeing a lot of what goes on through her eyes, and so I guess I relate the most to her.
I do love, like you said, that it's through her eyes because it gives such an innocence to the whole journey. In a way, I think at one point she says, "Oh no, it's not creepy." It's
Right,
like
right, right. Well, that she takes all of this insanity and crazy stuff and with a certain glint of joy in her eye, even at the moment after pummeling someone to death, she's just still like, let's go and finish what we started. That I find that very funny.
there's wonderful banter between these characters. It really is charming. Um,
Thank you.
I would love to know, for you. I mean, you've made this comedy, this brash comedy that's still has these wonderful performances together. But what do you hope audiences take away from their time with Gail Dodson?
I first and foremost, and basically only want them to laugh and enjoy themselves. That's, I think, an increasingly rare thing where we have feature film comedies in theaters that are designed just to make you laugh. And I think it's really important. And I miss it as an audience member. And I feel like uh, it's something of even a rallying call for me just to say this movie is not trying to impart any great wisdom about the nature of humanity. It's certainly not primarily so. It's primarily there to make you forget about that stuff for a second and just have a good time.
Which it accomplishes really, really well.
Thank you.
It is so much fun. David, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I
It's my
absolutely
pleasure.
fell in love with this film and these characters. It's just such a joy.
I'm so happy to hear that. Well, I hope everyone checks it out.
Me too. Have a great day.
Thanks. You too.
Thanks. Bye-bye.